Awesome.
Hello.
All right. Hello. Welcome everyone to this PTB 3.0.0 Q&A session. I'm going to start by introducing Mr. Stefan Orvat. He's a regular. You guys know him.
Hello.
And Mr. Phil. Hello,
Hey.
Phil. Is the art director with us today.
Just today.
Well, today. Yes, today. With us all the time on the team, but today on the stream. Guys, first off, I want to say welcome to everyone that joined us, but also our mods that are in chat as well. CM's taking care of everything in the back over there. Just a quick recap. We had the anniversary live stream last week. It was absolutely insane. I don't know if you guys saw, but I don't know for you, but I was stressed out and it showed.
It was more nervous than this, yeah.
It is very different than this setup, which we are very used to, and it feels like we're, just talking about the game, really relaxed. Over there in front of 200 people live and 90,000 people on the internet watching from home. That was absolutely insane. It was really a crazy experience. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it once it was done. But okay, so on this, PTB went live this week on Tuesday. We're 2 days in. There's already a lot of feedback, so we're going to address that a little later. Reminder, we have a blood hunt coming up. So June 14 to June 18. So prepare your schedules to get more blood points. We also have a lot of community activities. Those are set up. The schedule is on the forums. There's contests. Design your own cosmetic in game. That's crazy. Thank you, Phil, by the way, for accepting to do this. This is awesome.
That's sick.
And we also, to prepare these Q&A, we normally use the forums to gather a lot of questions. So for the next ones as well, we're going to have some Q&A forum posts up. So go in the forums and check it out.
Right.
I know everyone's asking about Ghostface right away. The Ghostface.
Ghostface.
So I'm going to start though by saying there's a known issue with graphics settings. They cannot be changed in full screen mode. So there's a workaround for now before we can fix it. You go in window mode to change the resolution and go back to full screen after. So that's one thing. All right, there it is. Ghostface. So as everyone know, PTB launched 2 days ago. Already a lot of feedback. So, Steph, what was our objective with Ghostface?
So with Ghostface, obviously we wanted to have a stealth killer. I think we have all the components to do so. There have just been some things that haven't actually ironed out like we expected them to obviously. With each killer that we make, ultimately we don't have it down to a science just yet. Finding their specific power level and how strong they'll be in live when everyone else is playing it. Is always a pleasant surprise, depending on where it goes, obviously. But we're always looking towards this and trying to tweak things. So there are some things that we're looking to address. I'm going to look at specifically feedback and what people have been saying to try to encompass what we've been hearing and what we will be working on as well.
So what specific feedback are we addressing on this one?
So right now, canceling stealth is too easy, as people have seen. So when a survivor looks at Ghostface, for 1 second, he gets taken out of his power, and his power goes on cooldown. There is a bug with it at the moment, so if you're already looking at Ghostface before he goes into stealth, that's counted as well, so you get taken out of stealth right away. These things will be tweaked and fixed as we go forward. Stalking right now is not as efficient as we'd like it to be, so the time it takes for you to expose somebody compared to how quickly they can get you out of stealth is not a nice balance right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be addressing that as well.
And there was a lot of feedback about audio specifically on Ghostface as well.
Yeah, like popping in and out of the power. These are also things that we're going to be tweaking. I can't give you the exact changes that we're going to be doing right now, but we are testing it in-house. And we're going to give you more information when we know. We'd love for you to be patient, of course. Send your suggestions. We're here to listen as well. We want to have a great killer for everyone to enjoy, and especially with someone like Ghostface.
So we don't know if that version will make it to the PTB, so the new one that we're testing right now.
Yeah.
But these are changes that we want to make before the release for sure.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to say on this one right now, because 2 days after the release of PTB, that's where we are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Phil, you are here today to talk to us about
Mr. Phil.
changes to Survivor's hair.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's been an ongoing process. So as you all know, the game was out for now 3 years since Friday. So we've been through a lot of discussion, and with all the update for Unreal, the game engine. So we were trying to take advantage of all the new technique, rendering, shading, improvement they're providing us. So this plus we're trying to adapt all the shaders that gonna support it. So yeah, if we can check some image, we can.
Maybe we send some examples.
So Kate, this is Kate. How she? I think that that's the before. Yeah, that's we can see that there some really weird spots there. So with the new approach, we play with the physics, the shader, and we base ourselves on some techniques that are used in newer games. So we were trying to be on par with them and not have old tech. So if we can switch to the other one.
So the reason, so the reason we're showing this today is because a lot of people had a lot of questions on this. So this is why we're taking the time here to explain it.
Yeah, and our main goal is to make improvement, and we're still listening to the feedbacks, even in the team. So it's an ongoing process, like I was saying. So yeah, if we're checking Jake, we can see that it's a bit harder to see because he's a darker hair, but we can see that there's a better animation, more the mesh were optimized too. We improved the attachment socket system, so we can attach cosmetic on characters. This maybe for some people it doesn't mean anything, but this is preventing some issue we have with the instability and the dynamic hair moving. So we had some stretching at some point.
Yeah, you'd see like Meg's ponytail, was it that one that would be flipping around all the time?
Yeah, flipping around like crazy. So, and the thing to remember, we're fairly a small team, so we have a lot of issue and to work on and different areas. So this one is very important to us. So it's taking a bit more time because people working on it. It's like fewer people than some other feature.
And it's a big task too.
It is a big task.
Hair is crazy in games.
It's you think that it would be easy, but it's one of the things that is always hard to nail that first time. Even with Nia. Well, if we look at Nia, I think we did a pretty nice fix. I didn't.
You didn't say it.
You skirted it. You skirted it. Tease.
Sorry. And the other thing is also consistency. So since there was different artists working on the hair, there was some difference in between the quality. So we're trying to standardize the process, the pipeline. And since we're making new cosmetic, we need to be consistent in the look and the production pipeline. So the older and newer hair are the same, well, not the same, but in the same direction of thought and process.
Awesome. And not all the hair has been touched so far, right? Like
no.
This is a process we're going to go through a bunch per release, whatever.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's ongoing, but surely it's really important to us.
So it's to be expected for other hairstyle in the future as well. Okay. All right. Well, I know you're super busy, man, Phil. So if you want to stay, you're welcome to do so.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Next to Arvat, who doesn't want to stay next to Arvat?
That's so kind.
That's so beautiful.
Is that autodidact, your perk? That's what it is, right? Self-taught? I think that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
All right, guys. So we have a lot of questions. and it's starting with Freddy. Lots
Oh,
of Freddy
right.
questions after the live stream last week. We kind of brushed on, the Freddy power, and now people want more details.
Of course I do.
So first question, is Freddy losing the aura reading when the survivors are in the dream world?
So yes, this was one of the areas of frustration, mostly because some survivors in particular didn't know that their aura was being shown outside of the tear radius, and they would get screwed by this quite often. There were other ways that we could show the players that they're being revealed, but we're not exploring that at the moment. So he's no longer going to have the aura reading while survivors in the dream world. It's part of the refactor. He's going to have other stuff instead.
So traps, right? Just to remind people.
Traps, generator, teleport, passive sleep, and wake up object now for consistency.
A lot more dynamic.
And smacking people at all times.
Yeah, smacking people
important.
all the time.
All the time.
All right.
Without that claw. Let's go.
Other question, will we lose all our Freddy add-ons when the rework goes live?
No. So, to start, you'll be able to keep all your add-ons that you've amassed so far. There might be changes in rarity. This has happened already with the Wraith. So for those of you who've been there, since the Wraith has been reworked, people were able to keep all of their add-ons, and any add-ons that change rarity would change with it. I think that was was it the Clapper that got like super ultra rare and like badass, and people had a ton of them?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. So we might not be
Sure
doing
it
that
was.
again, but things like that might happen.
So stack on these add-ons.
Whoa,
because you
don't-
never
don't-
know.
Don't tell them to stack. That's
It's
crazy.
it's already done. It's already done.
I knew it when I said it.
Are we changing Freddy's perk with the rework?
Yeah,
Thank
not
you.
the update. At the moment, there are no slated changes for Freddy's perks.
Okay, so if the perks stay the same, so if you're using them on another character, it should not impact anything.
Nope.
Awesome. When Freddy is rework, will there be an indicator for him or when he is flickering during micro sleep so that he can take advantage of the flickers for mind games?
Cool.
Yeah, so I was current
Keep
Freddy
going,
can
go on.
count during the dream transition to know when he's flickering and use it to mind game or move sneakily. But it doesn't seem like that will be possible in the rework.
So it will not be possible in the rework. I said cool because I really like that people were using that mechanic. That's exactly what it was meant to be used for. Ultimately, right now, microsleep is basically trying to screw with survivors' perception of where you are. So at a certain distance, you'll be intermittent, so they might not know whether you're coming towards them. You might be able to change direction or whatnot. It's about 16 meters. That's a bit hard to understand in Dead by Daylight terms and in distance. But you might get the hang of it if you're playing Myers, for example, and Myers has a 60-meter tear radius in Tier 2. Ultimately, beyond that point to 32 meters, you will be intermittent, so getting behind things or coming out of nowhere will be quite surprising to survivors.
But you will still not know exactly when you're visible for them.
No, it's hard to tell the killer himself because every survivor might be at different distances, so you wouldn't know exactly who you're flickering for, which isn't as... we haven't found a way to do that just yet, so it won't be there.
Okay. Can we see the new add-ons, or at least some of them, today, for example?
So I don't have any images, but all the add-ons will be the same. So like the jump rope will be the same. You're gonna have the wool shirt, the green dress, the blue dress, so on and so forth. But they're gonna have different effects. Every add-on has been changed so far. So to give you just a few sneak peeks, right now you'll be able to use an add-on to switch between snares and pallets. In addition to that, we'll still have an action speed slowdown, but only available through add-ons. That will be the jump rope and the chains, the chain and the different ropes. But it will be at a lower amount, so not 50% like it was before. Players found that quite frustrating as well, just doing an M1 action forever. In addition to that, you will have increased regression and aura reading when survivors fail sabotage, healing, or repair skill checks. And just as a little sneak peek, the red paintbrush, which is an ultra rare add-on for Freddy, will be changed so that all survivors start in the dream world and failed skill checks do not wake them up.
Ooh, that sounds really strong.
Yeah, it's an ultra rare. It's not going to be exposed, but it should be quite interesting all the same.
So there was 2 other questions that came in from the chat today. How will the Dream Master achievement work out after the rework? Do you know that one?
Which one? Sorry?
It's a question from the chat that I
Oh,
just
okay.
took. So,
I was
sorry.
like, I didn't see
I
that.
didn't see it. What?
That's blindsided me. Okay,
Yeah.
can you repeat the question, please?
So, Dream Master Achievement. Is it going to be changed? How is it going to work?
That's pull 200 survivors into the dream.
Yeah.
So survivors will be pulled passively into the dream. That will count towards the achievement.
So play Freddy and you should be all right.
You're gonna be fine.
All right.
Yeah. And just as a thing, I don't know if I said you're gonna switch between snares and pallets. I meant that you're gonna take snares and switch to pallets.
Okay.
For those of you who didn't know, we weren't sure about that last week. We're more sure about this week. Freddy testing is still ongoing.
Yeah. Another question that comes up a lot. What's the advantage of waking up?
The advantage of waking up is that you don't have to deal with the lullaby. The lullabies are harder to use to pinpoint where Freddy is, so he can really come up out of nowhere. In addition to that, his add-ons and his dream abilities, so like the trap and the snare and the pallets, will make it so it's a lot harder for survivors to escape Freddy while they're being in chases.
Specifically the slowdown, right?
Specifically the snare. Yeah, which you can. So you don't get a slowdown when you use these abilities. So when you place a trap, you're moving at your natural 4.6 meters a second. Same thing goes with the pallets. So you can really use them actively in a chase. It will take a little time to arm, so 2 seconds, but you'll place it in front of you, and then it will grow to its pool of blood, if you will. There was some really sick animations coming out of there too, but we'll get into that later. And then when the survivors come around for their second loop, they will get slowed. You can always place this ahead of time as well if you assume that players are going to use certain loops.
All right. I think that's it for the Freddy questions. We had a lot of questions in the Q&A about the Rift, the archives, the charms that are upcoming. We're going to give information when we're getting closer to the release date on this one. That's why today we're not going to talk about this. We're still in development.
Yeah.
Unless you have something to say. You were like nodding.
No, I can't.
I can't. Okay. Oh, you're just teasing everyone,
But
right?
it's really cool. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. We had questions about maps as well. So future map rework milestones are mostly focused on one specific map, or is it possible that we will see several map reworked at once? So when we were on the live stream last week, we had Matt Walker with us that explained. So if you missed it, you can go and check it back out. That was really explaining how much work is going to be put on those reworks. Mm-hmm. So it's not simply, changing a couple of things. Doing these map reworks doesn't mean that we're not touching anything else in other maps as well. Bug fixes, improvements, that's going to happen still. Yeah. It's just that we are concentrating on these maps. We're offering a lot more
replayability.
Replayability. We're literally building more maps as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So ultimately, we're going to get to the other maps.
Yes.
In time. It won't be a quick process. Unfortunately, I think it's really cool what he's doing. I'm having a lot of fun with it myself, Walker and his team. But ultimately, it will take a little time to get through each of the different variants and themes.
It's the same thing as the hair and everything. It's an ongoing process, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
We're gonna mention this a few times, I think. Yeah.
So we're going on more general questions that people are asking. So starting with the first one, as the team look at removing secret offerings from the loading screen, there are few enough potential secret offering that is prevent them from being a secret.
So thank you for that question, Blueberry. Ultimately, that was the guy who asked. I didn't want to say his name. I've seen this question come up often in forums and Reddit and on Steam. And I wanted to mention that we do have thoughts on this. There's no changes that we can announce just at the moment, but it is something that we want to let you guys know that it is on our radar. We do want to look into doing something for this. It could be something as simple as not showing an offering for the killer at that point, or not showing them at all. But this is a decision that we have to take and go through with to make sure that it doesn't compromise the integrity of the game.
All right, so Medal of Men, when is that rework going live? And are we going live like it is in the PTB right now?
Okay, so first question, you can test it now in the PTB, which is what you already said, and it should go live when the chapter comes out.
Okay.
With that being said, we got some fair amount of feedback from the PTB. Safe on hooks make it very easy to get Medal of Man to trigger off. In addition to that, Metal Man right now is triggerable while you're healthy, whereas before it was only triggerable while you were injured. We are looking, so, to kind of like segue into that, we are going to be removing the safe on hooks for the release, and we're going to be making it so that you have to be injured to trigger the Metal Man activation, so the ignoring of a hit.
Okay, so that's planned for the rework, the release,
Yeah.
or it is planned for later?
It's planned for the release.
Okay.
So you should be looking for this soon. It will not be in its current state that you see in the PTB, and it will not be like it is live. It will be a bridge between.
All right. Are you still actively buffing or reworking weaker perk?
Yes. So this is an ongoing process. We were talking about earlier. I said as we come back into other questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like foreshadowing. I think that's what they call it in movies. There should be a few perks updated in each release. Sometimes it's not possible to do as many as we'd like. Every one in the game is one I'd like, but obviously there is time and place for everything, and we need to dedicate our resources accordingly. So there should be more perks coming along that will be getting changes. I hope you liked like Pop Goes the Weasel, Unbreakable, Streetwise. Let me know your feedback on those things. I would love to hear them.
All right. Are we planning on updating any other killer power now that you solved Legion's problem? For example, poor Leatherface could use some updating.
Yes. So this is similar to the perks and the maps and the hair. We're continuing to update our killers, but it takes a fair amount of resources. Specifically for the Nightmare, it took a crap ton of resources.
Yeah, but that was a rework.
But that was a rework.
Oh, the question was asking a rework.
They're saying rework. Oh, they're saying they said updating. Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
I just wanted to say the Nightmare himself is like a big rework, whereas the updates are a little more easier to do, but some of them are not as high priority than others. So, for example, we looked at the Legion recently. We did the Wraith before that. We're doing the Nightmare now, and we've done passes as well on the Trapper and the Hag. The remaining killer list is still like the Nurse as one of the high priorities, Doctor and Cannibal. The Cannibal has been asked often, so what would we do with the Cannibal, for example? One of the things that comes back often, at least as a suggestion, is that the charge action, when it finishes, should start the actual chainsaw rush instead of juggling it currently like you currently can do, and you try to guess when you get to the end. So that's one of the tweaks you could possibly do. We could also make it so that when you get to the end, there's a color change, maybe an animation change, really showing you that something is happening.
So to segue on this, there was also a question about missing ultra rare add-ons for some killers.
Yeah.
So does that come with an update, for example?
Yeah. So when we look at these killers, we should be updating their add-ons as well. So for example, with the rework, we're going to be changing all of Freddy's add-ons. In the past, I believe we added a new Ultra add-on for the Trapper, if I remember that correctly,
Yes.
when we did his update as well. So this should be something that comes with the next killer updates that will be coming, which includes obviously the Nurse and the Chainsaw Bros and so on and so forth. There is some love to be handed around.
All right. There was also 2 questions we added last minute. The stun effect, the new stun effect on pallets.
The VFX.
The VFX, yes. There's a lot of feedback on that one. So is that going to stay that way? What are we doing with this? I don't know if you guys noticed, probably.
Yeah, so right now when you get stunned, you get a red vignette that comes up while you're doing the stunned animation. We've got some feedback from the players that this is a bit too strong. Right now we're looking internally to find out what the good balance is here. Is there an area that we can explore to have this kind of visual feedback in addition to the camera shake? And how can we do it that's pleasant for the majority?
Oh, we had a question.
Pleasant.
What's a VFX,
Pleasant, yeah.
Steph? What's a VFX, Steph?
How does that, what is actually a
Visual
virtual
effect.
Visual effect.
Visual effect?
Yeah.
You just want to make it so simple? I was going to say there's going to be like this virtual...
There's no virtual
fantastic-
effects god
Oh, God.
meaning. No.
Well, now I'm lost. I'm lost, personally.
All right. Another
Thank you.
question that was coming a lot was, so we changed enduring, right?
Yes.
And we didn't touch the DS stun.
No.
So why is that so?
So you're referring to the fact that I mentioned back in the day that we might revisit enduring
Yes.
and the DS stun, especially if enduring was
I
modified by
am
the DS stun.
referring exactly to this.
Yeah, you have a good memory. God damn it.
Everyone, they have a better memory.
No, I know. Ultimately, right now, I think Decisive Strike is in a good place. I don't see as much frustration towards it. I think it's working and doing what it's intended to do. I think the time frame is okay for the moment. With the changes to enduring, I'm going to continue to monitor with the team, obviously, to see if it is problematic. And if it is problematic, we will reduce it.
Okay.
At the moment, I do not believe it is that problematic. I will hear feedback, I'm sure, on the forums.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can do for further releases. But for the moment, it will not be changing. And for those of you who are not sure about what happened to enduring, enduring went from a faster recovery, which meant that you were recovering in 1.14 seconds, to a flat reduction, which means that we basically divide the stun time by 2, and now it's happening in 1 second instead of 2 seconds. So
All right.
it's actually a small buff, but it only affects pellets.
There's a question for you, Phil. They're asking you to voice act the future male character, but you already were a voice actor for a lot of character in the game, right?
Yeah.
Specifically killers too.
Yeah,
Right?
actually a new one.
And
Oh.
Jeff too, right?
Jeff. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff and what else?
I think there's 6.
6?
Yeah.
So
Jeff, Trapper, Billy, Wraith,
Trapper, Wraith,
Billy, Hillbilly.
all those
Hillbilly.
grunts is that guy.
Freddy.
Oh, you did the
Yeah.
Can you do it now?
No.
Ah.
In your dream.
I'll have to go to sleep soon then.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Phil.
On this was a kind of a quick Q&A today.
Yeah.
We normally have a lot more, but we're only 2 days into PTB. We have a lot of work to do. And I'm going to recap a little bit what we talked about. So last week was anniversary live stream. It was crazy. It was 90,000 people watching. Thank you for showing up. It was absolutely amazing. The PTV is live currently. You can test the Ghostface. You can test the Ghostface, but we're also working on it on our side as well. Reminder, there's a blood hunt coming up, June 14 to June 18.
That's next Friday, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is.
Not tomorrow, the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And check out the forums for all the activities and all the anniversary-related raffles and contests. Thank you guys for joining us today. It was amazing to have you.
Pleasure.
It was pleasant to be here.
Awesome.
More than pleasant.
And,
Thank you
well,
for being here, Phil.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
and we talked about the hairstyle as well. Thank you, Phil.
Also true.
All right, guys. This is it, the awkward moment.